Hey, good morning, everybody. Ty Garner here, and it's day 7 of Husband After God. We're going to look at being set apart and what it means to be set apart in marriage. Look at Romans chapter 6, verse 18 through or 20 through 22, kind of summed up a little bit. It says, "You were slaves to sin, but now having been freed from sin and are enslaved to God, you derive your benefit resulting in sanctification and the outcome, eternal life." Which obviously eternal life is much better than the alternative. In the notes, it says, "A Christian is not someone who cannot sin, but someone who is no longer slave to sin. He or she belongs to God." So what does that look like in marriage? What does it look like to be set apart in marriage? The first thing that comes to my mind is just as Christians, we're supposed to be an example to the world, and our marriages should look different. You know, the marriage was a sanctification, it was a covenant from God between husband and wife. The world has distorted that so much to where it really doesn't even look like it used to look and how God designed it to look. But as Christians, we should be the example. We should be the ones that stand out and make a marriage look like what it should look like, which is a covenant by God. It's not easy though, right? Being set apart. One of the examples the devotion talked about was, how gold is refined and how when gold is purified, it goes through a very, very heavy heated firing process. And what it does is brings the impurities actually to the top, and they scrape the impurities off, and then what you are left with is that pure gold. And in the book, it talks about how God uses marriage to purify us, to refine us, just like that gold is refined. We're going to go through a lot of trials, we're going to go through a lot of heartaches, and we're going to go through a lot of conflicts that you have to be able to work through. And the only way you can work through those things often is if you have God in the middle of that and you're both seeking Him. I think as society, we so often just throw up our hands and say, "Oh, we're getting a divorce, it's not working out." But that when you got married, you married her because you loved her, you had this feeling of love. Most people get married because it was a feeling, but really and truly, you made a covenant. And a covenant is not one that it's supposed to ever be broken for any reason. It doesn't matter if you disagree on things. You're supposed to work through those things. And I think that for the world, like I said, we're as Christians, when you became a Christian, you agreed to be different, to be holy, to pursue that holy life, and to do away with sin and seek God. Like I said, we're not going to not sin. It's impossible. But I think we definitely need to, as Christians, be a better example of what God made this marriage covenant to be. So I challenge you today to be set apart, be different in your marriage, and seek resolution before throwing up your hands. I hope that challenges you today. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.